Hi guys, it's Becky. Um, I wanted to sit down and make this little video. If you hear noises, I have two dogs with me. But I wanted to explain why I haven't posted on my channel for, I think it's close to a month now. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've been going through a lot. Sorry. This is my puppy. She's like, no, I don't like the camera. I don't want to be near the camera. Ugh. But yeah, I wanted to explain why I haven't posted anything. I know that I don't have an obligation to, but I do view this channel as very important, and the people who follow it, I know it's not a lot of people, but I feel that it's important to keep posting and, making videos to help people understand what it's like to live with mental illness and symptoms, and especially around borderline, because borderline is a very stigmatized disorder that even professionals refuse to treat on some cases. So it's very important to me, and I do feel bad because, I just started this channel recently, and I'm already taking a month break without posting anything, saying why. But I'll be honest, trauma is why. I have felt the need to be with friends and home a lot. Some days are really hard where I don't have motivation to do anything, and that includes filming. And I've been okay. There have been a few days over the past month where I felt that way. But I try really hard to plan at least something for every day, because I have to get out of bed and I have to do the things I need to do in life. So even if I don't feel like getting out of bed, I have to. So I try really hard to plan things for every day so that I have something to do where I cannot stay in bed all day. And I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to be like, oh, well, this is why I haven't filmed. Oh, I have all this stuff going on in my life. I don't want to be like that. Truth is, I just haven't filmed. And yes, there are reasons why, but I haven't filmed, and giving you the reasons isn't going to change that. And I want to get back into filming. Just a lot of change going on recently in my life. I actually started this video to talk about a big thing that's been going on recently. Now, this is extremely personal. I don't think I've talked to anyone about it ever, except for my therapist. One of my closest friends. The father in the family I live with. And my mom. And my mom was there for this situation. So, if anything medical freaks you out, or any really invasive procedures, or anything relating to your genitals, that will be discussed, okay? So any phobia, any trauma associated with medical procedures or doctors or nurses or anything in the medical field, please do not watch this video. I did not know what the term medical trauma meant until today. I didn't know it existed. And I'm glad I have a name for it, because I feel like any medical care for me ever in my life has been traumatic in some way or another. I remember being very young, hiding from the doctor when at a physical, because I was terrified of getting a shot. Needles and I have never gotten along. I have always been terrified of needles. I hate them so much. I very recently started giving myself my migraine injection every month, which was huge. I might post the video I made while I did it for the first time, because you can see the pure joy on my face after realizing I did it on my own. I used to scream and cry and kick and punch, and it took people to hold me down to be able to give me injections. It was really bad. But one of the worst, if not the worst, experience I had with medical anything was when I was very young. I was talking to my mom about it tonight, and she thinks I was about 6-ish. My family and I, we moved to America when I was almost 5 from England. And the past couple sessions I've had in therapy, I ended up talking about an event that has stuck with me in all the worst ways since that age. It started out, not the session I had today, but last week, talking about how I was raped when I was 18. And that went into the child abuse that I had, which I don't have a lot of details on. I don't remember a lot of it, but I was sexually abused as a kid. And I don't know what age I was. But I had, from what my mom told me, because I did not have all of the details surrounding why this procedure had to happen, I was having a lot of UTIs, or urinary tract infections, as a kid. And they wanted to see if I was having issues with like a reflux or like a backflow of urine into my bladder, and they wanted to check to see if the anatomy of my bladder was okay. You know, that there wasn't like something causing me to not be able to fully evacuate my bladder. Well, the test they did to figure out if there was something wrong was inserting dye into my bladder, and from what my mom said, taking x-rays over a certain period of time. Now, the x-rays aren't what bothered me, okay? I remember getting the x-rays done. What bothered me is that they had to put a catheter in to get this dye into my bladder. And if you don't know what that is, basically they stick a tube up your urethra. I don't know how old I was when I was sexually abused. Even if this happened before that, that's horrible. That is one of the most traumatic experiences I have in my entire life. I remember it so vividly. Like it was yesterday. And that sounds so cliche, but it's true. I still have nightmares about it. I think about it very often. Because they held me down. And I had a legit screaming, like horrific reaction to them trying to do this. And I don't understand how people can view that as acceptable. To hold a child down while they're screaming and kicking and fighting and do that. I don't understand. At least emotionally. I know, and I told my mom this, and I don't blame her. I don't want to say I blame the people who did it, because I know now they were just trying to help me and figure out if something was wrong. But a kid, especially that young, I didn't understand that they were trying to help me. I didn't know that they had my best interest in mind. All I knew was that these people I don't know are holding me down while I'm screaming. And someone is shoving a tube up my urethra and it fucking hurts. And logically, I know that sometimes you just have to get things done. And that's especially true with medical, because sometimes it's an emergency situation and you have to do something that minute, even if it's painful. But this, it It was horrible. I'm trying very hard not to cry because I've cried enough about this. Um, I I feel like people who do these kind of procedures, it's an everyday thing to them. It's not for the person they're doing it to. And I don't know if these people had ever seen something like that reaction before. My assumption, it could be wrong, is that they probably deal with adults most of the time. And that adults, even though it's uncomfortable, can understand to an extent why. And I feel like that might, I don't want to say make it easier, but like, I don't know if these people had ever seen something like that. But like, I remember it so vividly. And I texted my mom about it today. And I texted her because I'm too nervous to talk over the phone about this right now. And I found out it traumatized her too. Because she was there with me and had to watch her kids suffer like that. And I guess I'm angry. Yeah, I'm angry. Because I don't know how it's viewed as acceptable to just hold a screaming child down like that when you're doing something so invasive. Like, no questions as to why. Like, I feel bad. My mom said to me, she goes, I hoped that you had been too young to remember what happened, that you wouldn't remember. And she said, I'm sorry that it did traumatize you. And I was like, oh no, honey, like, I didn't say this to her, but I feel like that was a big start of why I don't like going to any kind of appointment or procedure or anything. Because they violated me. I'm trying not to cry or dissociate or anything like that, because I don't want to give it more power than it already has. But how that can be viewed as acceptable, I will never, at least emotionally, understand. To just hold down a screaming kid like that who's kicking, and that baffles me. Like, that they just kept going. And that's been a common theme in my life. Because I feel like that situation just made my fear of going to the doctor so much worse. And anytime I had to go, I was scared. And then, especially if it came to getting immunizations, like, I had to be held down for those too. And I got stitches when I was in, like, going into 6th grade. I sliced my toe open on glass. Had to be held down by, like, 4 people when that happened too. And it's the idea that people forced me to go through those things when I obviously was in distress. And apparently, I don't know if this is true. I'm fairly certain it's true. Yeah, no, I had a medical professional tell me this. Not in a professional context, but that they have like a board that they sometimes have to strap people into to get something like an immunization done, just to get it over with. And I'm like, that's fucking torture. I'm sorry, that's torture. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. You can't. Because it leaves the same damaging effects for the rest of that person's life. Like it's done to me. And I wasn't on a board. I was held down by other people. And I'm angry. Very angry. Sometimes I don't realize how angry until I talk about it. I can't understand. Like, no. I can't understand. And I'm sure people are going to be like, you're being over dramatic. This is for the person's best interest. No, it's not. Maybe physically, but not for their emotional health. Because what was a regular day to those people has fucking traumatized me for 20 plus years. And I don't see myself ever forgetting about what happened. Maybe I'll move forward, which I'm trying very hard to do. But I will never forget about it. I don't think I will ever not be angry. And this is embarrassing to talk about, because that is something so intimate and personal and humiliating to me. The amount of hate that I have had for my body. And that's not the only reason. I know that's not the only reason, but I am certain that was a contributing factor to how much I hate my body. So yeah, that's what I've been working on recently. And you can see how upset it's made me. Look at me, I'm fucking flushed. And like I said, I'm trying really hard not to cry or dissociate because I don't want to give this more power than it already has over me. Sometimes I just want to give up and not go and see doctors. Just not do anything for my physical health. Because then they can't do invasive procedures like that. Because I was a child and I had no say. I had no right of consent. And I think that's disgusting. Because the kids should have a right over what happens to their body. Otherwise, they could end up traumatized like me. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has trauma like this. I'm certain. I just want to scream. I just want to scream. And like I said, it's embarrassing. It was terrifying talking to my mom about it. Because I didn't want her to think it was her fault. Because as a mother, she was just trying to do what was best for me. And obviously, it wasn't good for me. But she didn't know that. In fact, I don't think I ever mentioned it to her. Ever. Until now. So she probably just thought I'd forgotten or was too young to remember it. But no, it's a core memory. That's a humongous memory of mine that pops into my head all the time. And I relive it every time it comes into my head. And I might cry here. I am so blessed that I have this whole family of people inside of me who love me. And I know I've talked about them before in videos, but if you're new here and this is your first video, I have internal friends. And they started out as imaginary friends when I was younger because that's what I considered to be socially acceptable. And as I grew up, I was like, there's something wrong with me. This is not normal. Well, I had a therapist suggest that I teach them skills. And ever since, they have helped me through everything. And they have been there for me through everything. And I don't hide them anymore. I will not give details on them because they're mine. And I'm not giving them to anyone. But I am very blessed because they have been trying so hard to help me through this. I have written conversations with them. And I had one last week after my therapy session. I was at work and it popped into my head. And I was so scared because I was at work and I didn't want to have a breakdown. So the first thing I thought was I need to get out a piece of paper and I need to work with them on this because I'm not going to sit here and have a breakdown. This has to stop now. So I got out a piece of paper and I started talking with them. And one of them suggested we work with my inner child. Now, if you're not familiar with that, there is, I would call it a type of therapy. I don't know specifically what it is, but I have used it a few times where you basically treat your inner child as a separate person and you give that child love, or you talk to that child and say the things you needed to hear when you were that child. For example, in this situation, I was so traumatized by what was happening. I forgot my mom was there. That did not matter at all. One of my internal friends had me work with my inner child, and there's a certain thing that you can use as a skill to do this called non-dominant handwriting, where you use your non-dominant hand to write as your inner child. And it sounds crazy, but it's helped me. I have a book dedicated to non-dominant handwriting. And the thing is that it makes it look like it's a child's handwriting because it's your non-dominant hand. So, this internal friend and my inner child were conversing back and forth. And I went back there to where that happened. And I was terrified. But I imagined this internal friend coming to my side and aiding me and helping me. And they spoke to me as that child having a tantrum, being, having a panic attack because of what they were doing to me. They spoke to me. They held my hand. They told me things are going to be all right. They will be done soon. I know you don't know these people, and that is terrifying that they're doing these things to you, but you know me. You know you're safe with me. And I'm so blessed that I have that, because since that situation, since I had that conversation, and I went back there with this internal friend, it's been easier. But it's still hard. And I don't know how to fix it. I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying very hard to fix it. But I don't think it can be fixed. I know it's going to stay with me forever. And I know I will build a bridge over it. But that's going to take time. And I feel bad for anyone else who's been through something similar or has medical trauma in any sense, or trauma in general, because trauma sucks ass. No one should have to go through things that hurt them in such a way that they are traumatized. But I felt I needed to talk about it a little. Maybe talking about it and putting my story out there may help other people who have had something like that happen to them. And I wish I knew how things could have gone differently. To have avoided me from developing all these issues surrounding this. I don't know what other ways they can do this. Like, the only thing I could think of was sedation, and I don't think in that situation they could do that. But I feel kids should have a right to their body. At least some say. Because it is their body. And what you're doing could traumatize them well into their adult life. I'm 26 years old. And I am terrified of going to the doctor. Or any medical facility, for that matter. I work in a hospital. I get anxious just from working in a hospital. And I don't tell people that. I do my job. I work very hard. But that does not change the terror that I have associated with anything medical. And that is a huge reason why that event. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to end it here. But please know that if you have trauma, especially surrounding medical anything, I get it. I understand, and I'm sorry. Because it's not fair. And you shouldn't have had to go through whatever you went through. But we are strong and we can get through it. And I have faith in that. So, I'm gonna go. Please take care of yourselves, guys. That's very important. I will be making videos, but please just be patient with me because I am going through a lot right now. I'm so thankful for you guys, and I'm so thankful I can make videos for this channel and hopefully help other people feel like they're not alone. I love you guys, and I'll see you later, okay? Bye.